Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously. Create dozens of quick lists. Display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Thursday, September 3rd, 2015. The question board is open, folks, so if ever you have any questions, feel free to ask them. On the markets today, we have markets conditions where markets are rallying, and there are 2 factors that are, well, mostly 1 factor that is explaining that is the ECB statement. The ECB said that they will keep rates unchanged. The ECB also said that the quantitative easing program that they have adopted that was supposed to end on September 16, well, they will actually might continue that quantitative easing program. They also said that with what happened in China, the recent market turmoil, that they will actually, this is additional risk, but if ever those risks should actually impact negatively the European economies, that the ECB will be willing to adopt new measures to counter those negative effects. So the fact that the ECB is committed to continue to stimulate the economy, that they say that the possibility for the quantitative easing program to extend beyond September 16, all those are factors that are actually helping fuel the slight rebound again that we had today on the market. So the fact that we're rebounding today has not changed the situation compared to yesterday, where this downward trend is still maintained and where we're still unable to go higher than that 4,835. I'm not saying it's a resistance, but top, I would say, on NASDAQ, 16,652 top on the Dow Jones, and 200 points on the SPY, which is here. So we definitely need to, first of all, stabilize at those levels, and then to confirm a new bullish cycle. Now, how far could this rally could go? We see that it's tough to say, because on one day we have an increase, the second day we can have a decline, so it's definitely tough to give a clear view about what stocks, what sector should you buy. I want to highlight out particularly a movement that we have found on MarketGurus.tv on the resources. There was also some stocks in the solar sector. We have published a list, but this movement didn't play out. We were even considering, if ever markets were able to make a new high, we were even considering to recommend some of those positions among our analyst choice portfolio ahead of 3:30, because it's usually around 3:30 that we like to recommend stocks on the analyst choice. So let's take a look at some stocks on that list. If you don't have access to all that list, you can definitely make the free trial of marketgurus.tv. That will allow you to actually benefit from that. Now, we had, for instance, a stock like FCX, Freeport McMoRan. Look, at opening, the stock was surging. We had one entry point here, another one there on the break of that resistance. Finally, massive sell-off. So the stock lost all its gains. And now we're back to the same level that we were here. So it has been frustrating for those of you who got in the second movement of a stock like Freeport McMoRan, because you had to be quick to take some profits. And even though at those levels, you might have been a little bit more patient before taking some profits, and if it didn't happen, it is actually really frustrating. But so far, if you have opened some positions for day trading, hoping to hold on to them for swing trading, which means hold on to them for the next 2 or 3 days or even the next week, I still think that Freeport McMoRan is a stock that you can actually continue to hold on to. 950 is the point where you should close that position. Teck Resources also made an attempt to start a bullish cycle, but so far the stock remains neutral. I'm not saying that today it's a time to buy those mining stocks, though, because a lot of those stocks on the rally will still have weakening volume, which is a sign that the wave of buyers that bring the stock up is not convincing enough. Now, also, we have a stochastics that is showing us clearly an overbought situation, right? And you see that every time we have tested this overbought situation, that led to a correction, right? And this is what happened here too as well. So we're still within that. And on Teck Resources so far, though, I think what we definitely need to have is another wave of buyers in the market to confirm the strength of this bullish momentum on a stock like that. Now, let's take a look at some stocks also in the solar sector that we had. There's Jazo, which could break out. That is a stock that is recommended in the list of stocks that could break out, that has been put on marketgurus.tv. So we need the stock to go higher than 830 to confirm the strength of the bullish momentum. Elsewhere, there's Clean Energy Fuels, higher than 538. That could be interesting. So a lot of stocks in the solar sector could be interesting for swing trading, but so far it's not what's happening. On the gold sector, it's also the same situation where a lot of stocks remain neutral. So on the gold sector and on a lot of stocks on the resources, the timing is not to buy any stocks, but to put a lot of stocks that are in a tight neutral range on your bucket list. And whenever we have the next cycle, those will be the stocks that you should favor. Welcome back, folks. So let's start with some questions here. We're having questions from Sophia about CRK. Let me take that. Is CRK a buy for swing trading? My target is $5 to take some profit. It's good that you mentioned CRK, Sophia, because CRK is our day trade of the day. Maybe you're a fan of our Facebook page because we have published that. So CRK, yes, gave us several entry points. Now, CRK, is it a buy for swing trading? Your target is $5, which if we put it on a yearly basis, well, $5 almost corresponds to that resistance there. So that could be one, yes. However, let's take a look at some indicators to see how far this breakout could go. One thing I don't like on that stock is that, look, we're going higher here on that stock, higher than this one here, while the stochastic so far is making a negative top. So this is something I kind of don't like on a stock like that. Now the histogram, it's the same thing too. So this is what's called a bearish divergence. Why bearish? Because the stock is making a new high while the histogram doesn't. So that means that definitely at those levels, that CRK probability to reach $5, which is that point here, is definitely limited. Now, if we put the moving averages, yes, we're going higher than the 100-day moving average, but I definitely think that with this resistance that is there, that we have been unable to break on CRK. You see here, when we reach 391, this is where the wave of sellers came out. So I definitely doubt that CRK could do that. That's a stock that I would continue to watch for day trading. If tomorrow we have another wave of buyers coming into that stock, I would day trade it and take some profit during the day. But to buy that position, knowing that it's already surging by 7.32%, knowing that the histogram is confirming a bearish divergence because the stock is making a new high compared to that top here, and the histogram is negative. This is not so positive. This is not positive. And the fact that we have a resistance that's there at $4 are all risk factors that make me think that a stock like CRK will definitely not be a great pick for swing trading. So for me, my answer is a no for swing trading, but limit yourself on day trading on that stock. Today, I don't think we're going to have that movement, but definitely if tomorrow we have another wave of buyers in that stock, that could be a stock to be watched, because I'm definitely watching a lot of stocks in the energy sector. With energy sector right now, that's neutral. There's some stocks like Nuvista Energy, Berkliff, that remains neutral. None of them are in a situation to confirm a breakout, but the fact that they stay neutral, it's a good thing, because it's a situation where those stocks should be put on your watch list. Now let's take another questions here from Tulili. Do you think that the panic about the Chinese market is overblown? And this is why we have a rally today on the markets. Well, I think investors are mostly panicking because they're seeing that the exports numbers, the manufacturing data are not moving as much, are not above 50 for the manufacturing data. So this is a sign of a contraction. But you have to take into account that the Chinese economy remains an economy that's closed. So it's not because the stock market is losing 4% that the overall Chinese economy is not doing well. Chinese economy is mostly dominated by real estate. So if ever there's a crash in real estate, this is where we have problems, because most Chinese people, they don't like to buy on the stock market. They prefer to buy real estate, which is something that they can more control, right? Now, the thing is that real estate market so far is doing okay. There's still a lot of levels of debt. There's still the problems with shadow banking, which is the banking system that the central bank doesn't control, and people use a lot to finance their real estate purchases. So those are some risk factors that we have. Now, are their fears overblown? I think so far, I think what investors need to adapt to is that we're gonna have a new Chinese economy that is gonna have a lower levels of growth than the 10-15% that we had in 2007 and before. And I think the fact that we have to adapt to that, this is what creates some kind of the volatility that we had on the indices. Now, I still think that the Chinese economy has some potential. Retail sales are still strong. That's why Apple said today that they're still making some money, and in China, people are still buying their iPhones. And, you know, I think you should, I'm not saying it's overblown. There's some risk factors that are in China, especially the shadow banking system, the fact that it's not always open, but I definitely think that eventually that on a long term, that the Chinese economy should do well, even if in the short term we have this heightened volatility.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
So welcome back, folks. So let's take a question from Al here. What do you think of RVX? Pretty nice RVX. Really, you had an entry point here at 167, and now we have reached this resistance. So it's more a situation for profit taking with a stock that is so overbought. So if you didn't get in within the last 2-3 days, now it's kind of too late, because we are due for a stabilization phase in a stock like RVX. The wave of buyers is not there to allow the stock to go higher. Now, even if I put, for instance, a Fibonacci retracement from that top to that bottom, we have already reached 61.8% of all that decline. So far on RVX, it's a stock that should be put on your watch list. Watch if the stock can stabilize towards 250 to 238, right, which corresponds to that resistance. Watch to see how far will the stochastics go. If we have a stochastics that goes down, right, the stock stays neutral, and eventually you have a stochastic that goes back up, that will confirm a higher bottom on the stochastics, and that will be a clear bullish signal if the stock could go above 240. So it's a stock that should be watched, not a moment to buy it because the stock is overbought and it's also reaching a resistance. But nice to be put on your watch list, Al, because it has been one of the nicest performer since the market started to rebound. Now, Jack, time to buy gold like HGU. Well, look, Jack, first, gold is still not able to start any new bullish cycle. We need gold to go above 110 at least, right? We're not seeing any buyers on gold. Look at this. We still have a wave of selling pressure that could bring the stochastics towards this oversold situation. We need to have the reversal of this downward trend on the 923 stochastics to confirm an entry point on your HGU. So far, it's not the case. Even gold stocks, though, even if a lot of them stays neutral, there's still a risk that the gold sector could come and retest that bottom of 120. If we do stabilize at 120 and we can actually reverse, let's say, that short-term downward trend, let's say go above 126, 127, with a stochastics that could be towards this area here and continuing to go up, okay, I think HG will be a go. But right now, with gold stocks that remain neutral, right? Look at all those stocks. All of them are staying neutral, right? I don't think that you should buy HGU because you risk getting caught in a false signal. The risk on the gold sector, mostly it's what the Fed is going to do. Some say the Fed needs to raise interest rates. Some say the Fed doesn't need to raise interest rate. If they do raise interest rate, it's going to be negative for gold because we don't have yet a lot of inflation fears. Even if the beige book say that there's some pressure on wages, wages are starting to go up, people are becoming more productive, but overall, we don't have inflation fears in the US. Inflation is still not as high as the Fed's target of 2%. So this is the risk that you have on the gold sector, especially September 16 and 17. Will have to be watched to see what the Fed is going to do. Now, as I said, unless gold sector goes above 126, unless gold GLD goes above 110, for me, it's not a time to buy HGU. That's my advice. Now, Chris, we have a great questions here on SQQQ. So SQQ, what do you think about the MACD histogram? MACD histogram for me, Chris, so far it's tough to say anything about the MACD histogram. I cannot confirm any divergence with the MACD histogram that I have right now. Stochastics 933. Yes, we're oversold, but we're not seeing buyers yet. We need the stochastics towards 30% to confirm that the wave of buyers is consistent on SQQQ. Now, the 10-day, 50-day moving average, the good thing is that the 10-day, which is in red, is above the 50-day moving average. Great thing. But there's still the 200-day moving average that's there, right? And so far, yes, the 50-day moving average at 2372 represents a support. The fact that the 10-day is above the 50-day is also a good thing. Now, is this a signal for an upswing? So far, I'm not seeing a wave of buyers coming in yet. Also, I'm looking at the NASDAQ here. The NASDAQ, most sectors are just neutral, right? It is true that we have been unable to go higher than this 10-day moving average. So what I'd like to see on the NASDAQ to confirm that SQQQ will be a buy is if I put more data on that chart, what I'd like to see at least the NASDAQ to reverse this short-term upward trend. So if the NASDAQ could go below 4,700 points, then SQQQ will be a great opportunity. But for me, as long as we maintain this short-term upward trend on the NASDAQ, SQQQ will not be a go. You cannot only look at SQQQ with the indicators without looking at the NASDAQ composite. And the NASDAQ composite, so far it's clear that the index is neutral. And why would you open a bearish ETF within this neutral formation while you don't know what's going to happen in the markets, right? And this is why you need to have a clearer direction, a clearer confirmation of a bearish momentum with the NASDAQ breaking the 4,700 support. So overall, folks, on the resources, the movement that we had today, has not continued. A lot of stocks in the resources have to be watched. I'm talking a lot of stocks in the energy sector, on the gold sector. It's not a moment to buy none of them at all right now. Today, the rally is explained by what the ECB said, because they're committed to even keep the quantitative easing program for longer. Do not rush into any ETFs or any stock in particular. Even our day trade of the day, CRQ, which has been really active, so far I doubt that this stock could actually give us this entry point necessary to head towards $5. We have a slight increase here indeed, but even if we go above 376, it's not a stock that I would hold overnight at all, because of the risk that we have on the markets, and because of the fact that at 402, this is maximum the point where I see a pause of this upward momentum. So that's it, folks. See you tomorrow on the Swing Trading Show on DecisionPlus.com.